So I'm going to use this to show you guys how you can do downloads so that you can receive universal energy like I do. But first thing is I want you to be able to ask me questions. So below here, ask me questions, not whether I'm going to be with the right person or business or career or health, etc., because those are my astrology questions, but my global questions, my universal questions, such as, are there aliens? Do we live beyond the veil? And that's what I'm going to be talking about today. Living within the veil. We have heard of the multiverse universe, but I call it the multi-veil universe. We conceptualize things to be separate, but everything is moving all at once, all at the same time, and a lot we do not see. There are people or entities or energies that are existing around you right this second, and you don't see it. It can affect your moods. It can bring you up, and it can bring you down. But guess what? You rule how it is navigated. Yeah. So you're the person who puts your finger on or puts your hands on the knob of the radio, and you choose what frequency you want to bring in towards you. Yes, even what the government is doing, what Big Brother is doing, what the elites are doing, the pharmaceutical, the healthcare system, what it is all doing to you, choose whether you want to be within that veil. We have multitudes of veils. They're so thin you cannot even see. And yet they are invisible, and yet they are opaque. So unless you turn the dial to go into that other veil, beyond the veil, you can't see what's on the other side of the veil as thin as it is. So I'm going to give you an example. And after this example, you'll go, you're right, Holly, that's not woo-woo. Have you ever had a problem for a long time? And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, either somebody or something or a thought pops into your head and the problem is solved. Just like that. And you're like, what, that was obvious. Why didn't I figure that out a while? Because you managed to get to the other side of the veil. You can do it through prayer, meditation, or just the openness to accept that there's got to be a solution. Have you ever thought of an idea and 6 months later it's invented? That's because you were tuned into that dial, or you were within the veil of that other person or people about to invent that invention. And you contributed to it. If you've got a difficult financial situation and all you're thinking is, please give me money so I can pay my next mortgage. Please give me money so that I can maintain my standard of living. I want to get that new job I applied for so I'll make a better income. Why did the person next to me get a raise and I didn't? That's because you're stuck in the veil. You're stuck within the veil. You're stuck within the layer of the matrix. And you need to get out. It's not about making more money, getting the mortgage and income. You just need to get out of a situation in which you feel trapped. So I'll give you an example. I used to live in a 1,600 square foot house. A nice house. Really nice house. When the season was at its peak, we sold, and we made pretty good money. Most people will say, well, why would I do that? Because then I would have to buy another house, which we couldn't afford, because, yeah, the prices were up. So we just went month by month, day by day, not making any long-term decisions. Now, I do this master astrology full-time online, so I can work anywhere. And then my husband, well, he decided to take an early retirement. He was nervous about it because it was going to be a cut in pay. Fortunately, he has a pension. And to top it off, believe it or not, to travel constantly, even though we've gotten some sweet deals, it's expensive too. It is more than a mortgage. Well, things just fell into our lap. Some things have been comfortable, some things have been very uncomfortable. And we're doing our best to work with the money that we have. Also, we are living on a lot less, and we are also making money by loaning out the money that we have. Instead of it sitting in the bank, we're loaning it so we make money. You know, have you ever had to get, we went bankrupt, and we had to get a loan from a person who was rich because the banks wouldn't loan us money. We had to pay a higher yeah, you know what I mean, higher interest. Anyway, we're one of those people now. loaning our money out, and we make a chunk of money every single month, and it's just interest. It's not them even paying us back yet, and it's all legal, so don't be warning me about that. If you told me 5 years ago that I would be homeless, my husband would be without his very, very reliable job, I would be going, oh my God, that's the worst news you could ever give me. It's the best thing that's ever happened to us. Why? Because we turned the dial. We lifted the veil. We went into a new layer. And you know what happens? All of a sudden, everything else opens up for you. Everything. My husband had one of our travels out in Vancouver. One of my clients is a doctor out there. She recommended us to a naturopath, cured my thyroid like no other doctor has done before, and was able to do procedures that kept my husband from having knee replacement. We didn't even know that existed. We didn't know any of that existed. A veil was lifted. It's like when you open up one, it becomes like a domino effect. Veil, 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 veil. They're everywhere. And you know what else is beyond those veils as well? They're there all the time. Angels, guides, loved ones, guardians, master angels, gods. They're all there. And they want to interact with us. And they want to help us. And they want to give us hope. And they want to work with us. We have to be on a positive, higher vibration in order to do that. So ask me questions in comments. I'll get a download and I'll pass it on to you. If you want to know more in my very inexpensive book, it's under $20, under $15, I think. 101 Answers from the Universe. It's a black and white book. You can get it on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Indigo, but get it on Amazon. And it's a thin book. You can probably read it in a few days. It's got 150, 200 pages to it, and it's got literally 101 answers from the universe. Some of it started to unfold for me, and I wrote it in 2019. I wrote it in the fall, summer and fall of 2019, because Source told me I had to have it produced by January. It didn't happen until February, and I know why now, because a lot of the answers of our awakening, and my subtitles is Eyes Wide Open. And look at what happened after COVID. I didn't know why I was calling it Eyes Wide Open. Anyways, go get the book, 101 Answers from the Universe, Eyes Wide Open, that I wrote in 2019, that was delivered in 2020, because all the answers are there of our awakening that we're going through globally. Namaste. Oh, find me on YouTube. I've got my longer ones there. You can find me on Google, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Find me there. All my stuff. This will be there too in audio form.